Hey guys, Steven is here and let me show you how to achieve the best image possible with your Action 2. All the shots you just seen are done with the Action 2 paired with our filters. There are a couple of things you have to know about this camera in order to squeeze the best footage from it. First of all, do not film in resolutions less than 4K. 1080, it just does not look good in my opinion from this camera, so stick to 4K. Second, you are gonna have to decide if you need a regular video or you need a slow motion. If you want to film a vlog or just have a regular motion in your video, then just go for 24 or 25 FPS. Just for your reference, 24 or 25 FPS looks like this. So it's just regular motion as we perceive the world around us. In my opinion, if you film in vlogs or you want regular motion, then there is no need to go for higher frame rate, as this camera overheats super fast and it might shut off if you film in above 30 FPS within like 5 minutes. But it all depends, of course, on the environment temperature around you. Then for better control over your image, I recommend to use manual mode and set up the rest of the settings by yourself. As for ISO, keep it the lower the better, as higher values above 3000 will introduce noise to your footage. As you can see here, the original footage has this nasty color noise from the sensor because I was using the higher ISO. So I had to use noise reduction in editing in order to decrease the amount of noise. Then make sure your shutter speed is double your frame rate. This is really important if you want to have organic feel into your footage. So if you're filming in 4K 25 FPS, then fix your shutter speed to 1/50th of a second. If you film in 30 FPS, then the shutter speed has to be 1/60th of a second. It will give your video natural motion blur, which is extremely useful for fast moving scenes and helps you deliver the feeling of a higher paced, fast movement. But of course you can use higher frame rates. In some scenes I used even 100 FPS just because I wanted to slow down some part of the video. But generally, I try to decide whether I need regular motion or slow motion before I start filming. And this really helps. I don't think you have to film everything in slow motion just in case, because first of all, the video quality will be much lower compared to regular 24 FPS because of the bitrate and the amount of data the camera writes on the memory card. So I think it's better for best quality possible to film in 24 or 25 FPS. And if necessary, then sometimes switch to higher frame rates, but only with intention to slow it down in post-production. Keep in mind that sometimes it's not possible to keep your shutter speed at these values, as your image will get overexposed. In that case, you need our high quality ND filters that are not only help you to control camera exposure, but also provide a little protection for the front element of your Action 2. And here I have to warn you guys, in my opinion, I'm not a fan of this design for the Action 2, as DJI tried to impress everyone with a compact size action camera. By mistake or not, they made it almost impossible to make the filters that stick to the camera at all times. And that's why we put the strongest magnets in this filter to make them stick as hard as possible to the camera. But there are simply very few points of contact on the camera itself made by DJI to make them stay in place irrespective how hard the camera hits the obstacle. We tested our filters in very harsh environments and in different conditions. So let me tell you that they stayed on place even on racing drone during a heavy blizzard, very harsh environment. The filters stayed on camera no matter the blizzard, no matter the wind. The filter stayed on camera at all times. Also, if you shake the camera, the filter stays on it. But if the camera hits a branch or something stationary, then the filter will fall off. Thanks DJI for the poor design, I guess. Now let's talk about stabilization and field of view, because you can choose from 3 different fields of view: ultra wide, wide, and normal. If you don't hit the dewarp mode, then your video will have a fisheye effect. In some cases it is useful and allows you to get more stuff in your frame, but personally I prefer the dewarp mode as it does not bend the horizon and just looks better in my opinion. And for stabilization, I think it is better to keep the rock steady stabilization on. I especially liked filming water surface as it has so much movement with the waves and everything, and these shots I got with hybrid and DPL polarized filter that helps me to reduce the glare from shiny object. Simply it just cuts off all the unnecessary lights and reflections, not everything 100% but most of it, so you have more vivid colors and better contrast. I wasn't that lucky to find the sunny weather because in my location at the moment it is not too sunny to be honest, but still, even though it's not, the filters came in really handy. By the way, when filming with the Action 2 I noticed some of the Jello effect. You can see it right here. And some problem occurred with the first Osmo Action camera if you remember. But here I tried different settings, switched the camera to auto mode because I was hoping maybe the camera will fix the Jello itself and it only occurs in manual mode, but no. You know, I even changed increased and decreased shutter speed, but it still was present no matter what I did. With the filter, without the filter, manual settings, auto settings, DJI made the stabilization this way, so I guess it's just something we have to always keep in mind when we're using DJI Action 2. But despite all of that, I really like the idea of having the camera separate module, which was also super useful for backing up the footage right after we land our drone. So you land your drone, you plug it all together, you back up all the clips you needed, because let's be honest, sometimes when you fly FPV drone, you're just hoping you don't crash, and all this footage is way more precious compared to regular drones like Mavic. You back it up with the separate module and then you're good to go to fly again. All your footage is safe, stored on the ground in your pocket. So that's what I really like and recommend you guys doing whenever you're filming with the Osmo Action. If you're especially using FPV drones, just make sure you back up your footage and don't just leave it to a chance, because sometimes you think you're good to go, but you might lose the camera and you might lose everything you shot for the day. Alright guys, if you have any questions about this camera or filters, then just drop down in the comment section below, and as always I will see you all next time. Bye bye.